The Switch is the perfect console for the days where you just want to lie in bed, snuggling under a blanket, playing some video games with a warm cup of cocoa. But what are the best games to play when you're in such a mood? I'm Felix from Nintendo Live, and today we're here to look at the very best cozy games for the Nintendo Switch. We have 19 games to look at in no particular order, and also this video is an adaptation of an article originally written by Kate Gray on NintendoLive.com. But without further ado, let's crawl under a blanket and look at what the list has to offer. And starting at the list, we have A Short Hike, one of my all-time favorite video games. This game has a lot of hallmarks of a great cozy indie game, talking animals, a message about stopping to smell the roses, and the kind of soundtrack that you want to listen to in the bath. It's just downright lovely. For a game that's normally about a short hike up a mountain to get reception on your phone, A Short Hike becomes a lot more quite quickly, whether that's finding secrets, helping people out, or just exploring a world on your way up. There's a lot of joyful, wonderful moments to be discovered in A Short Hike, but the best one of all is when you realize that the journey is sometimes more important than the destination. And next up we have Unpacking. Moving isn't very fun. In fact, it's one hell of a hassle. But if you take all the bad away and just leave out the fun stuff of actually putting all the stuff from your boxes into place, well, you get unpacking. The goal is simple: take the stuff out of the boxes and put it into the house you've just moved into. However, the interactions with the items that you own and the rooms you're unpacking into are surprisingly, forgive the pun, moving. It's a charming little experience that's perfect for winding down after a long day. Moving along the line, we have Yoku's Island Express. This is one of the most hiddenest gems on the Nintendo Switch. You're a little beetle and you need to deliver pose, and what better way to do that than fling yourself around the map in a pinball puzzle platformer game. Along the way, you'll learn about the inhabitants of the island, their various secrets, and best of all, you'll find that size is no limit when your heart's big enough for the task. This next game is a little similar to Unpacking, but with its own twist. See, A Little to the Left is all about rearranging objects in your house just right. This means stacking papers in size order, books in height order, and lining up game cartridges perfectly. It's really satisfying to make things look nice and organized, and A Little to the Left nails that feeling. At a very specific, not so cozy time in our lives, the beginning of a global pandemic, Animal Crossing New Horizons came out and soothed a lot of our worries away in its candy-colored, animal-befriending holiday island. Sure, you can play this game in a number of different ways, a lot of which are quite stressful, like trying to collect all the pieces of furniture, terraforming your village, or visiting deserted island after deserted island to try and find Marshall because you need him on your island. But at the end of the day, it's a game all about relaxation, making friends, decorating houses, and placing flowers in a cute garden that you've designed. With the co-op features, it gets even cozier as you can welcome people onto your island in order to trade, show off your designs, or just hang them in the lovely museum. If only life was this simple. Next up, we have Alba, a wildlife adventure. A charming little bird-watching, animal-identifying, squirrel-washing game all about saving the wildlife in a cute little pastel town. The titular Alba is partaking in the Island Cleanup Initiative, which involves recruiting critters, picking up trash, and literally cleaning up puddles of toxic goop. There's also plenty of townsfolk to talk to as well, including your grandparents who you'll be staying with. Alba can also take photos of the animals she sees, so just like in real life, your phone will be stuffed with pics of tiny, round burbs. Developer asked games call Alba at Chiltathon, and that's what you can expect. Despite its rather ominous environmental message, it's a really calm and relaxing game. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a neat little puzzle game that's just unnecessarily pretty, with 3D vignettes that you can rotate around to find secrets and solutions. On the Nintendo Switch, there's even more puzzles to muddle your way through, plus multiplayer Toad Mayhem if you fancy that. Toad being significantly smaller and very much rounder than our usual Mario-shaped hero, everything in Treasure Tracker is at least 200% cuter. What's not to love? And coming up, we have Stardew Valley. Who hasn't thought of just leaving everything behind and go work on a farm? Think about it. Instead of emails, you get fresh strawberries. Instead of deadlines, it's all about crop rotation. And instead of having to go on some terrible dating app, you just give someone an egg every day until they love you. Stardew Valley is all about taking life slow, but don't let that fool you into taking things easy. There's plenty of depth to be found, including the literal depth of the mines, which are stuffed with hazards, traps, monsters, and treasure. And also you can get really into making your farm as efficient as possible. Or you can also just turn it into a pig paradise if you want. It's all up to you. Woohoo! Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley is the kind of game that when you look at it, you just think, yeah, it's cozy alright. You play as Snufkin who has to say goodbye because the Moomins are going into hibernation and you are not. It's a game about stealth and melody because music also plays a big role in this game. And why are you sneaking around, well, to trash parks? Because they don't align with Snufkin's way of life. The story was a bit more emotional than we thought it would be, but still a very lovely time. There are few games out there that successfully capture childlike wonder and imagination better than Little Gator Game. Despite some minor issues with the writing and how directionless the adventure can feel at times, it's easy to forgive the small frustrations when a game is as wonderfully charming from start to finish as this. Little Gator is adorably cozy fun, and it comes with a recommendation for anyone remotely interested in feeling like a kid again. Like, for example, when you fight against monsters, these are not really monsters but cardboard cutouts. Thus, you must use your imagination to really imagine yourself being out on this grand adventure, just like you would back in the old days. Coming up, we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Look, it doesn't get quite better than a little pink puffball who just wants to eat cake and have friends. And Kirby and the Forgotten Land is extremely cozy with beautiful environments, adorable friends, and a ton of movement that will warm your frozen hearts. It's not challenging, but it has a thrilling momentum that keeps you coming back for more. And if you don't want to do that alone, you can also hit it up in co-op. It's just take a look at the visuals. They're just so nice. And then we move on to Absu. Oh, how we would love to have more games like this. Games that are about swimming in the ocean surrounded by rainbows of fish and ribbons of seaweed, the sunlight streaming through the surface. Unfortunately, every other ocean exploration game tends to have scary ocean monsters like Subnautica, and that sort of ruins the experience for us. Admittedly, Absu has a shark, and that shark can be scary, but most of the game is so beautiful that we can forgive Mr. Bitey. And next in line we have Toem. This game is a charming photography game that's full of great moments, a lot of heart and clever puzzles. You'll travel around the black and white world, encountering interesting characters, all set in diorama-style levels that are begging you to explore them. By solving their problems with your trusty camera, you'll earn stamps to allow you to move on to the next bus stop ready to see what's next. Like a great album you put on at the end of your day to wind down, Toem is an incredibly relaxing experience that you'll wish you could experience all over again once it's finished. So you probably already know Untitled Goose Game since it went very viral when it came out, but in case you haven't played it yet, it's all about a naughty goose who loves stealing things and honking loudly. It's daft, silly fun with a lot of wonderful moments that emerge out of the goose's antics, like making a man fall down by stealing his chair or trapping a child in a phone box. Honestly, the humor of this game is what sets it apart. It's the kind of game that's all about gentle pranks and being very, very annoying, but with no one really getting hurt or becoming the real butt of the joke. Then we have Coffee Talk. This visual novel set in a supernatural fantasy version of Seattle serves up a refreshing brew of angst, introspection, and coffee beans. You're the barista for a wide cast of weirdos and caffeine addicts, serving them drinks based on their unspecific requests for things that are a bit sweet or good for a cold. Behind the bar, you'll get to listen to customers as they chat, and what could be cozier than that? Dorfromantic's peachy pink peaceful puzzler vibes will soothe your soul. Imagine a mixture of Carcassonne and watching a child play with blocks, and you're sort of halfway to Dorfromantic's charm. You'll get a bunch of hex tiles with things on them, houses, railway tracks, forests, and so on, and you have to match them up with tiles you've already placed, eventually creating entire countrysides of your own imagination. Sure, you're still trying to get points, it wouldn't really be compelling without a goal, but the little settlements you build are lovely in their own right too. What if Pikmin was less existentially horrifying and way cuter? Well, it's possible because that's what Tinykin is. This game is more than just a wholesome, stress-free 3D platformer or Pikmin Light. It's a lesson in appreciating the simple things in life, including the help from those around you. Even with the mass of collectibles and a free-flowing storyline to follow, Tinykin never feels cluttered or overwhelming. Despite feeling a lot like a certain Nintendo series when you first pick it up, the game has enough of unique identity to separate itself from the pack, offering a pleasant, pure platforming spin on Pikmin. And penultimately on the list, we have Shinshan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey. This never-endingly titled game is a mashup of Shinshan, an impish 5-year-old who has his own manga and anime series, and My Summer Vacation, a series from the early 2000s about a boy whittling away a month of summer days in the Japanese countryside, exploring, chasing bugs, fishing, having dinner, and generally letting his imagination find adventure in a place with nothing too thrilling to do. If childhood summers sound like bliss to you, then just know that this game nails it. And if you were sitting thinking, man, I wish I was playing in this game but that it wasn't so restricted that I could just walk around in the 3D space all freely, well, Natsuman 20th Century Summer Kid's got you covered. And how fitting to finish off this list with a game about death. But wait, it's not about the horrifying reality of mortality. No, see, Spiritfarer is all about finding peace and comfort before going to eternal rest. As the person who ferries spirits to their final destination, you'll also have to let them live on your barge until they're ready to pass on, and that means helping them fulfill their unfinished business. We're talking, I want to tell this person what I really think about them, not I want to get revenge on that person who murdered me, by the way. All the spirits are represented by animals, from snakes to hedgehogs, and best of all, you can hug them. With a generously animated look and the ability to upgrade your barge whenever you please, Spiritfarer is definitely worth a play. If you can handle the weepy parts, that is. And there you have it. Those were some of the very best cozy games on the Nintendo Switch. Don't forget to check out nintendolove.com, where you can also find lists like these but in written form. Are you picking any of these cozy games up, or are there any that were missed on the list? Well, let us know down in the comments below. And with that, stay safe, play some cozy games on the Switch, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Live, out.